Hello, my name is Hamza Salem and I am a developer for the result page team. The product owner is Dr. Masood Shajadi. In this video, I'll be going over user story number 2824, implement error handling. Here you can see the implement error handling user story on Mingo. The goal of this user story is to provide the user with appropriate feedback whenever their query returns no results so that they can try another search. The acceptance criteria for this story is as follows. Feedback must be given only when a user enters a query that returns no results. Feedback must be present to user in an obvious manner. Feedback must be given in a concise manner, informing the user that the query entered was incorrect. Feedback must be given in a concise manner, give suggestions to the user as to what will serve as a query that will return results. So here are the tasks that I have created for this user story. So throughout the video, I will go through the task and demo the changes I have made and briefly look at the code behind those changes. So we will start with the task fix bugs with results page. As you can see here. So this is a task I added after I started with the development of this user story. This task, I fixed a few bugs that were quite annoying to me, especially when debugging and testing on the results page. So one of these issues were that the filtering interface appeared whenever you pressed enter for a search. I'll demonstrate what I mean by this. So if we go to the production site, here's the search bar, and we enter a search, we press enter, and the filtering interface appears. And this does it for any search. So we go again, search, and the filtering interface appears again. So the other issue was that the results stayed even if the search was taking place. This, on top of the lack of feedback that queries on BreazeHome currently provide, can cause confusion for the user. This is what I mean by that. And so we go to BreazeHome production site, we search some zip code, and then you can see that the results from the previous query are still there. So to avoid confusion, when loading for the results for the current query, I hid the previous results. So if we go to our local environment, we can see the changes in action. So here's BreazeHome running locally. We enter a query, and we press search, and no filtering interface appears, and the previous results have now disappeared, and the user knows that the following results are for the current query. So now if we look at the code base, we can see the changes that were made to fix the issues at hand. We go to results.html, and we putting type equals a button here stop the filtering interface from dropping down every time the user pressed enter for a query. And if we go to search card, and for card view, doing ng if not show loader, which we'll talk about for another task, stops the or hides the result when another load is taking place. And the same thing applies for the table view. Next task we are going to look at is search feedback. This task is used to provide feedback to a user that a search is taking place and which query the results are for. This is useful because, as mentioned before, BreazeHome currently does not provide much feedback for searches. The user does not know if results are being retrieved for the query they entered and what query the results displayed are for. So now we can go to our local environment to see the changes in action. So we'll enter some query. So now the user is informed. With this loading, the user is now informed that the results are being retrieved, or at least attempted to being retrieved, depending on whether or not the query is there's any result for the query. And now the user is informed that there is 100 results found near the query that they entered. And if you search again, previous results disappear, results being retrieved for the new query. And the user is informed that there are 100 results found for the query that they just entered. So they know all these results are for this query, not the previous query that they just entered. Okay, so now we can see the code for this task. So first we can go to properties.js, and we've added these two statements here. So we broadcast not done when before we get a response from the server, and once we get the response from the server, we broadcast done. We can go to results.js now. So if it's not done, meaning we're still waiting for a response from the server, we want to have show loader set as true. With show loader set as true, you can come here and see it in results.html. When it says true, then we'll display the message loading to the user. And then once it's done, we get a response from the server. We set show loader to false, and once it's false, we'll display the card view. As you can see here, ng if not show loader. Same applies for the table view. Same applies for this sort icon and the results found near statement. So we'll do our last two tasks for this video: query that returns 0 results and error view in one go, since they're very related. So for query that returns 0 results, we want to determine when a user enters a query that returns no results. This will allow us to display an error view, which is when the user enters a query that returns no results, provide them with helpful feedbacks and suggestions. So right now, if we go on to BreazeHome, the production site, we enter a query that returns no results. We gotta give it a second for these results to go away. But yeah, all the feedback that's given to us is 0 results found. So we don't know if the load actually took place. We don't know if if we as a user did something wrong. And if we did something wrong, we would like to know what we did wrong so we can actually enter a query that returns the results that we are interested in. So in other words, the user just doesn't know what happened, which can lead to confusion and frustration, which might just make them want to use a different site than BreazeHome. So now we can go to our local environment to see the changes in action. So we come here and we enter the same exact way we entered the production sites. Now the user is informed that the user knows that it's loading, so at least they can assume that BreazeHome is attempting to retrieve the results for the query they entered. And here you can see that now we tell them that there are 0 results found near YYY, and we cannot find the properties for YYY, and then we give them suggestions such as entering searching by a city, a street or an address, a zip code, location in the United States, and we give them examples for all these suggestions. So giving them helpful feedback that will make their life a bit more easier. Here's the code for these two tasks. So in English.json, you can just find the text for the error view. There's also HTML. Here's all the HTML for the error view. Find right here. And then on the result styling sheet, you can find the styling sheet for the error view as well. One thing I want to touch upon is the ng if statement here. We only show the error view if it's not loading and if the property slot length is 0. We also have a delay here, and we only show it after a 200 millisecond delay that you can find on results.js right here. This is needed because at times a query will show the error view for a split second before they displays the results. So to avoid this, we had a short delay for the error view to be displayed. So that wraps up this user story. If you'd like to contact me, you can find my contact information here. If you have any questions regarding BreazeHome, you can contact the product owner, Dr. Masood Sajadi. Thank you for watching.